Getting started, page 308. Grade 6s, you would have seen in your notes, this is the first exercise we are going to do, and you had to paste in this table. You can complete this exercise on this table, on this piece of paper. So what you have is you've got a problem typed out in letters and words, and then you've got a number sentence on the right. You have to see which problem fits with which number sentence. But that is what mathematics is all about. It's reading a problem and then putting it into numbers. Numbers is the language we use for mathematics. So if we look at number 1, it says the sum of a number and 8 is equal to 27. So now you have to look at the vocabulary, sum of, and that means, yes, plus or addition. So the sum of a number and 8, so something plus 8 equals 27. If that is your problem, you have to look from A to L, where's the correct number sentence that fits with something plus 8 equals to 27. And if you identify the correct letter, you can simply write it in the open block next to number 1. Or you can rewrite number 1 on the right side of your page and then just say equals to the correct letter. But otherwise, it's going to be much easier writing the correct letter in the open spaces next to the problem. As we read through the rest, it says a number is increased by. What is the difference? A number is decreased by. Product. Again, product. What is twice? Twice a number. What is half? And at number 10 and number 11, that means divide. Okay, so it means division. And you would have seen all of these words, grade 6s, in the vocabulary pages you pasted in your first maths book this year. So book 1 for mathematics, grade 6, you pasted in a couple of pages called vocabulary. All of these words are from there. So this is actually a very nice chapter we're going to do now with number sentences. It is basically a revision for us of work that we did in the first term. And then what is 6 squared? 6 squared means like a square. A square has 4 equal sides. If you have to work out the area of a square, you would say side multiply by side. So 6 squared is 6 times 6. We also say 6 to the power of 2. Then it means 6 times 6. So it's the same number you have to multiply with itself. The key ideas on page 309 will also help you with some of the vocabulary in this first getting started table. It says a number sentence uses numbers and symbols to describe a problem. You use the plus sign to write number sentences for words like add, sum, and increased by. So plus is given by words such as add, sum, increased by. The minus sign is used for words like subtract, difference, less than, and decreased by. We use the times sign or the multiplication sign for words like product, times, multiply, and twice. Then, if we use the division sign for words like divide by and half. Okay, remember half and twice. Those words mean specifically multiply by 2 and divided by 2. Halving a number can mean that you multiply by a half or divide by 2. So if we look at that statement, halving a number can mean that you multiply by a half or divide by 2. Let's see if we can explain that. If we say, what is the half of 4? We then say 4 divided by 2 because we know a half is 1 out of 2 parts. So a half means there's 2 parts and you need to add the two together to get one whole. So 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. So half of 4 is 2. Now, they also said rather than dividing by 2, we can multiply with a half. How is that possible? Well, remember, if you want to multiply a fraction with a whole number, we need to change the whole number into a fraction as well. Yes, remember the methods that we did with the of sums. So if I want to make this whole number a fraction, I simply put it on 1. Okay, so 4 on 1 times a half. And remember, if I multiply fractions, I have to multiply the numerator with the numerator and the denominator with the denominator. So top with top and bottom with bottom. 4 times 1 equals 4. 1 times 2 equals 2. Now I'm left with an improper fraction. I've got a number at the top that's bigger than the number at the bottom. And remember, this fraction sign actually means divide. So 4 divided by 2, and I'm left with 2. So if I multiply 4 with a half, I also get 2. So instead of dividing by 2, I multiply with a half. What does that mean? It actually means what are 4 halves added together? So a half plus a half plus a half plus a half will give you 2. Yes. Let's do another example. If I use 16 and I want to times that with a half, some of you will already know the answer. Basically, what is the half of 16? So if I've got the whole number, I change that to a fraction, 16 on 1 times a half, top with top, bottom with bottom. 16 times 1 gives me 16. 1 times 2 gives me 2. And I'm left again with the sum of 16 divided by 2. So what will my final answer be? 16 times a half will be 8. So grade 6s, if you talk about halving something, you can either divide by 2 or you can multiply by a half. And then twice a number means that you multiply by 2, and squaring a number means that you multiply by itself. So there's the explanation for squaring again. It means if 4 squared is 4 times 4, because it's a square, and a square has 4 equal sides, and you multiply the sides with each other to get the area of the square. So that's why it's called square.